Now, another example of context is learning about animals. We cannot learn about animals in a zoo. We have to learn about them in the natural world. Learning about animals in a zoo would be like trying to learn about people in a prison. It's a limited, constrained, restrained environment. People aren't free to move, don't engage in natural movement. They don't eat what they naturally would. To look at, people, we need to study people in a natural environment. Then we can understand what they're really like. So animals, we got to understand in their context, in their natural causal context. If we want to know what an ape or elephant would be like, we should look at what they do in the real world, what kind of territory they cover, what kind of social structure and interactions they have, what they tend to eat, and then we can figure out how to structure a zoo appropriately. Remember, we don't know everything. We're not omniscient. We got a lot to learn. We shouldn't pretend otherwise. Zoos should be structured for each animal in a species appropriate way. But for elephants, for rabbits, we want to see where they live, how they interact with each other, how they move through their environment, things like that, so we can determine what actually makes them healthy. Same thing with our cats and dogs. That should have some input, some inductive context from, in dogs from wolves, and from domestic cats from wild cats, the similar kind, because cats, like lions, are a type of cat, but they have different characteristics and different behaviors than domestic cats. We need to look for smaller cats from which the domestic cat comes to see how they should eat and play. Find an optimal way to play with them with toys, optimal way to feed them. It shouldn't just be based on what we feel or what we want, because that's not the proper causal context for them. Some people try to treat their cat as if it were vegetarian or could be. That's just doing something that you want, or you might quote unquote think is right. But you got to look at the species, the cat itself, see what its identity is, and see how it functions in the world to determine how to best take care of it. And it's an obligate carnivore, so you must feed it meat. You make it a vegetarian, you're just damaging your cat. You shouldn't have a cat. Get some other animal that could be a vegetarian. And this is not about everything has to revolve around our feelings. Everything should revolve around reality and our identification of it. We should be true to the world so we can take care properly of those things we love, the people and the animals, the cats, the dogs, and for those who like things like that, snakes, ferrets, birds. We should look at the whole ecology of an animal to understand it. And then as much as possible, we're very limited, but try to structure our home in that light for, in that context, in that big picture for our cats and our dogs. Help them be the best we can be. Some dogs are retrievers, some are pointers or whatever, and they should play differently according to their nature. Not everyone is going to not every dog chases after something and brings it back. Some are herders, so some have a need because of their nature to herd things. Some, you throw something in the water and it comes back, they have that need. It's part of and who they are. So if we think about an animal and its behaviors, its social structure, what it eats in the wild, the whole ecology about it, then we're engaging in thinking in context. We're looking at causally relevant features or factors for the animal. Instead of just doing what we feel or acting on ignorance, we try to think as much as possible so we can take better action and achieve values, because animals live in the world, so let's think about the world to understand how they should be. That's a good example of how to think in context, which can be applied in other areas: gardening, farming, raising livestock, government, friendship, politics, engineering. If we study some ecology and how animals live in that, what an animal's life is like and ecology is like, those skills help us in all areas of life, because we get how to put something in context in this real rich thought process, and that can be applied to everything. Like another example would be marketing. Think about a person in their culture, what their needs are, how they budget their money, what we do in life, what kind of benefits it has for them, how that person works in the economy and the culture, what kind of needs they have, how the product will fit the needs and make their lives better. So you can see that this kind of thinking helps you in all areas of life. You learn about animals and their lifestyles and their ecology. You're learning about context, the relevant causal factors for that animal, and how it interacts with everything else. And those thinking skills can help you all through life. As we said, engineering, biology itself, mathematics, your own life, marketing. So let's practice these thinking skills in school as a student, or as a teacher, at work, every person in our own individual lives, to make them better. If you have any comments, questions, or want other videos, let me know.